like junior college recruiting used to be, where you had immediate needs and had to patch your roster.
I don't know. There's just so much money that it just, I guess you can have a bad season and still go get the bag somewhere. It seems like every single season there's a team that gets hit with the transfer portal bug a little harder than others, and I really didn't expect it was going to be a playoff team. But Tennessee, of all teams, seems to be struggling, losing some big names, big pieces, and things like that. Now Nico is still there to stay, and they do have a whole spring transfer portal to get through, but they've got some big numbers. So today we're going to take a peek at transfer portal situation at Tennessee, and then we're going to take a look at the overall transfer portal, see who's still available, see who's the best ranking, see who Tennessee is giving up, and see how bad of a situation the overall transfer portal situation is. We're going to start with some interviews about Josh Heupel and the transfer portal, him addressing some situations, and we're going to go from there, man. I appreciate y'all watching these videos, liking them, and if you do like them, like them. If you don't like them, dislike them. Subscribe if you enjoy college football, man. Let's hop right into it. So the first video we're going to look at is actually a throwback to, I believe this is when Josh Heupel was getting, I don't want to say inaugurated, I don't think that's the right word, but introduced.
I did want to ask about building a program, and you've done it in a couple of places. It was Central Florida and now at Tennessee. With the portal and all the portal that entails, is it easier, harder to build a program how you'd like to?
Well, I think the portal has positives and negatives within your own roster, right? You lose some, you gain some. The portal gives you the ability to go patch holes on your roster quicker than it could happen just through general high school recruiting. It's a little bit like junior college recruiting used to be, where you had immediate needs and had to patch your roster.
I think that's a really good comparison. I think that's something that we've kind of lost because of how things have changed so much in the broader scale of college football, and especially when you talk about in reference to transfer portal. But I kind of addressed this in one of my last transfer portal videos when I was like, hey, look, man, like the transfer portal was for second chances, right? It was for, hey, I really don't like the situation I'm in. I'm never going to get play time, or, hey, this offense doesn't fit me. This coach doesn't fit me. Like there were very specific reasons. And one of those reasons and one of those ways that you could transfer is JUCO up to college football, or JUCO up to D1, you could immediately get eligibility. Unlike, D1 to D1 or whatnot, you wouldn't be able to get that immediate eligibility. So I think it's interesting to compare those because now it's constant, right? Now it's not just JUCO, this small little patch that I can get immediate. Now I have the whole field, it seems. So that's a crazy thing to think about how the scale changes there. Now here is Josh Heupel kind of talking about the transfer portal leading up to, of all things, the college football playoff.
Players.
Sorry, it's only going to come out one ear. Sorry about it. It's a little rough. But
as an odd question, but do you feel like your roster is set for Saturday? And how crazy is the timing of this entire month?
Okay, that is an odd question. Yes, obviously the calendar, the way that it's set up, it's unique. This might be the only sport that operates this way, where transfer portal, free agency, whatever you want to call it, is right in the middle of your postseason play. But we do feel like the roster's set. This group's ready to go compete and ready to prepare the right way. They've had really good energy and focus. Last week as we knew who our opponent was going to be, and we could start our preparation, and had great energy today as well.
And no one who's gone in the portal will be a part, right?
What was that?
No one who's
No.
gone in the portal will be a part, right?
No.
Josh, I know you're.
So not sure if you heard that, but he actually, at first he was just asking generally about the portal, or he alluded to the portal, and then somebody asked him, did anybody jump in the portal while they're getting ready for the playoffs on some, Bro Perbula type Penn State situation? That did not happen. Well, what did happen to them is they had a good fair amount of transfers. So right off the bat here, this is right after, I think last week, 27th-ish. Wait, it's got date 26th on my birthday, actually. Tennessee's tight end Holden Stays plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. The former Notre Dame transfer recorded 131 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Nothing crazy there. You got transfer running back Cameron Seldon plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal. It was a 4-star in 2023 class. So you got some bigger names there, and this is what it looks like on a grand scale. So sadly, am I on 2025? Yeah, just want to make sure. He committed on the 18th, though. Wait, why is this not doing the thing? It says 2019, 2024. Oh, because this year is 2024. I'd be forgetting. All right. Forgot what year it was. All right, so let's check out the outgoing transfers. 17 outgoing transfers. I don't even think that leads NCAA, especially in that Division One. Get this out of here, dog. All right, so you got Squirrel White. This one's crazy. Squirrel White is crazy. That's one of their dudes as Tennessee fan. Like that was one of their guys. Like they just hopped in the portal. Like all of them just hopped in the portal right after everything happened. Can I put my noggin in a different place? I'll put down here. All right, you got Holden Stales. That's the 3-star. You got the 3-star Charlie Bowder. You got the no-star Mr. Holden there, or Mr. Moore. You got Christian Harrison. Okay, well, if he's going to be right there, I'll be right there. I don't care. Is that Big X to plug? Yeah, you got Christian Harrison, the safety. Everybody just going. Then you've got Mr. Cameron Selden, who just committed to Virginia Tech. Nathan Leacock on the 16th. Nate Spillman on the 16th. Luke Schaus. Man, these are some names. Nimrod. All these has to be 17 transfers out. Crazy business. Absolute crazy business. At least you got one transfer in. But it's hard. It's tough to be what's it called? A head coach that's competing for a national championship, and at the same time trying to go ahead and pick up some of the transfer reports, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But before I do that, just take a quick peek here. Right before the cutoff day on Three Haynes Hot Sheet Report, Tennessee wide receiver Mike Matthews has plans to enter in the transfer portal. At this time, Matthews is not officially in the portal and won't be until at least Monday morning unless he decides to withdraw his name. Additionally, backup quarter walk-on Gaston Moore entered the portal this week as well. Can you get this out of my face? Tennessee players in the NCAA transfer portal. You got Mike Matthews, Squirrel Wright. We kind of talked about White over the last 3 seasons caught 131 passes for 1665 and 6 touchdowns in 13 games. Over this season, he caught 34 passes, 381 and 2 touchdowns, down from 67 catches, 803, 2 touchdowns as a sophomore in 2023. So again, this was one of Tennessee's guys in Squirrel White, but he wasn't as productive. It kind of baffles me too when you have a rough season, like the comparative 803, that's a good season, to 381, right? In 13 games, correct? Like that's, I guess you're going to have to bank off your old tape. Sometimes the transfer portal, I don't know, there's just so much money that it just, I guess you can have a bad season and still go get the bag somewhere. Holden Stays, junior tight end, 6'4". Stays joined the Vols last season, the transfer portal from Notre Dame. He played 13 games. We actually talked about him. Jason Jenkins, redshirt, a sophomore. So a lot of different named, not huge, what's it called, impacts for them, but definitely from the number wise. And when the dead period opens back up that things are going to happen, and Tennessee's going to have to go ahead and survive the entire sophomore schedule there. So kind of recapping some of the bigger names and bigger situations that happened in the broader transfer portal just to end this video off. Obviously, at the time of recording, these were the top ranked transfer portal, both names and transfer portal teams. Let me slide my noggin is way over here. Let me put them over here. So the top teams, and as well, this is from On3. I know some people say On3 is a little biased. I know some people say 24/7 is a little biased. Look, man, they had the pretty picture. So transfer portal top targets, we had John Mateer, the Wazoo dude who's going crazy over to Oklahoma. Man, Wazoo cannot keep a player. Well, I guess they kept Moore for 2 years, but still, man, all the good players leave. Eric Singleton, the top receiver out there in Georgia Tech, goes to Auburn, of all places. You had Micah Hudson going from Texas Tech to Texas A&M, and Casey Conception. I don't think he's on this list, but Casey Conception as well. Deuce Robinson to Florida State. You had the dude from Purdue, the safety, the edge, William Wonderson, different things like that. Fernando Mendoza, that was a big one. Nick Anderson from Oklahoma is going to LSU. The top team, Texas Tech, slinging it. You lose big dogs like this, and you still are the number one transfer portal ranking. That's impressive. Ole Miss at number 2. They were snatching up people. You know how Lane gets when it's portal time. Michigan handling business. Oregon, Missouri, Florida State, LSU, Auburn, Texas A&M, and Kansas. Now, to wrap up one of the stories that was pretty big, because this is a former Texas player, so this is my team, and then a player that also was big on possibly joining Colorado. I know a lot of my fans, or not fans, a lot of my viewers are Colorado fans. What's it called? So I think this was something that y'all were kind of waiting for the hammer to drop. And Jonte Cook last second went ahead and commits to Washington, of all places. Not that Washington isn't bad. I really respect Washington. And I think they have really consistent good football. I just feel like that was kind of out of nowhere. They had Crystal balled him for Florida. They were talking about Colorado. They were talking about some other big SEC teams. So for Washington to come out, I think that was interesting. So Indiana also still cleaning up good. You had Justin Haynes as well. Justice Haynes transferring to Michigan. That's a big pickup from there. Look at this. Look at Arizona State, Ohio State, Kentucky, Toledo. Boys is just taking trips to different schools. Indiana, like don't get missed up. I think Indiana was one of the biggest winners here. Shout out to Aaron Nolan. This dude's gonna be a dog. So it sounds like South Carolina is just stacking up elite quarterbacks. That's just what they do. And then of course you got to get your Colorado shout out there. They're helping out the offensive line there. And then not such a shout out for Nebraska as they lose a wide receiver. He had 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns in his career. He's a big, bad, big boy, big body. Now, who is left in the transfer portal? That is the question to be asked, and I have this right here. After this, we'll wrap this little video up. If the thing ever loads up, son, can you load up for me? Gosh darn. Yeah, what we doing? What's happening? What's the problem? See, I try to use this fancy schmancy little thing to present my notes here, and the gosh darn thing's just not working. Okay, we're gonna have to go like this. Boop, boop, boop. Do 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 do. All right, the top available. So the biggest, I think, name clearly is Zachariah Branch. Not just because he's one of the biggest or whatnot, but also because I personally think he's just the most impactful player that's available in the transfer portal. So he might wait until the spring to you know what I'm saying, commit and do his little thing. That could be interesting there. You got Arizona gentleman, the cornerback there. If I love, I'm not disrespecting your family, son. You got this big dog offensive tackle from Wazoo still in the portal. Another Wazoo and David Gusta, defensive lineman out there in the portal. So these are the last names left in the portal. I think it's been a very productive, fall situation here. I think there's a lot of situations going on in general. So I think Tennessee is going to be okay. To be honest with you, I think the biggest issue for them is they are suffering from being in the playoffs and people transferring after the playoffs. So I think it just looks worse than it really is. When we get to the spring window, I'm sure they're going to clean up and get a few more pieces. But man, if y'all enjoying these videos, if you enjoyed talking about the transfer portal, college football, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy college football, man. We will see you next time. Appreciate it.